Welcome back to AFTV. This is the starting 11 shows. Lens versus Arsenal in the Champions League. Our first away game in the Champions League for about 6-7 years. What is it, 6 or 7? I can't quite remember. It's been a while, and we are here to find out what the 11 is, which will be announced at about 15, 20, I don't know. Arsenal announce at random times, UEFA announce at different times. Anyway, let's look ahead to what it might be with our amazing panel. We have Turkish to my right, we have the amazing Tanvi making a debut, we have Talia to my left, and we have Dan Potts. A round of applause for everyone, and especially for Tanvi's debut. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for the Champions League. I'm still getting used to midweek European football mattering at this stage.
Yeah, we weren't used to it last year.
Yeah, and just sort of seeing like. We just used to see second string sides go out. They never play that well, but they'd find a way through the group, and they'd be like, I don't really care about the Europa League till later on. But this matters. It matters, Turkish.
It matters a lot more, yeah. I mean, the group stage of Europa League is just a formality.
Yeah.
You expect to get through, and the level of opposition is not as intense as the Champions League. To be honest, we expect to get through in this group as well, but there's a certain level and intensity to Champions League games that you can't rotate as much as you did in the Europa League. You need to go, pretty strong, especially in your away games too, because as much as Lens have had a difficult start to the season, away in the Champions League, it's not easy.
Yep, you're not going to see 8 changes today, are we, Talia?
I'm going to say no, but yeah, you never know with these days of football.
Well, knowing Arteta will make 8 changes and Saka will still be in the 11. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, he'll find a way.
He'll stay on all the way to the end.
Yeah. Just a quick one. We're going to go into more in-depth discussion on the players, Dan, but Bukayo Saka, you expecting him to play today?
No, man, I'll be really annoyed if he does.
Really?
I can't lie, yeah. I'll be really annoyed if he does, and I said that last game as well, and he's coming off now, and I'm thinking, let's just get this guy some rest, man, because we've got a massive game at the weekend. And I'm not saying that tonight isn't important, but I'd like to think we can get past Lens with our squad, yeah? Turkish summed it up perfectly. In the Europa League groups, you can do that. I actually feel like we've got a Europa League group in the Champions League. I'm not disrespecting any of these teams, but I'm looking at the draw thinking that was a good draw for us. Do you know what I'm saying? Yep. When Seville is like the best team there, not writing off Lens, they did really well last season, Lens. They really did. And I don't know if they've lost or kept their players from last season, but they're not going to be an easy team to beat. But surely we can give Saka a rest, man. Surely.
Well, we'll see. We're going to find out. Like I said, in anything from 12 to 20 minutes, who knows? We'll see. Arsenal, like I said, they drop the 11s quite sporadically, especially on Europa League nights. It's normally Europa League nights. There you go. See, I'm in Turkish.
Act like you
Raise
belong
the standards,
here.
James.
I meant to say European
Act
nights.
like you belong here, bro. Come on.
Get it out of the system, let go. You need to let go of the past.
Make it till you make it, at least. European football nights, they'll release it any time. I did actually want to come to you next, Turkish. Your first fan cam on AFTV was a Champions League night, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich, something like that.
Luton Airport, returning from Munich, 5-1.
Oh, don't remind me.
Yeah, that was the debut, February 2017. That's why I know it's just been over 6.5 years since the last away Champions League game. And I still went to the second leg and watched us lose 5-1 here as well. So, it's been a while, but at that time, I think, Europa League was our level, and it was evident by getting smoked home and away by Bayern, if not evident by the fact we was in it so long without ever really competing for it. So I think we deserve to be in the Europa League, but now I believe we deserve to be back in the Champions League. And by that, I mean, I hope that we're ready to compete and finally actually, make a name for ourselves in Europe, because that's one of the things that, especially when arguing with opposition fans, they always use it to win an argument, and more often than not it does win an argument.
Yeah, I hear it. I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, is there anything from that first fan cam that you remember saying that you feel has been addressed since? And I know it's a long time. We've had some iconic fan cams. I remember the Box Park one after the FA Cup win.
Everyone should calm down.
Yeah. Everyone's celebrating the FA Cup. They're drunk, and Turkish are just relaxing.
I was late as well, though.
No, I understand.
I was more relaxed.
But you were proven right, especially certainly for the 2 years following. But is there anything that's since that moment that's changed drastically? Because same ownership, but a lot of structural change. Edu wasn't there when that fan cam happened. Arteta wasn't. Vinay had a different role. Tim Lewis wasn't there. The players. Mohamed El Neni, the only one. And funnily enough, the only one you actually semi-liked.
yeah, true. But listen, with the ownership, it's hard to judge yet, because we are back where we was when I initially lost it with them. So now is the time to start seeing over the next year or two whether they're going to build on being in the Champions League or whether they're going to sit back and enjoy the money that comes with it. In terms of everything else, I think as much as I loved Wenger throughout the majority of his Arsenal career, at the end it just, it became very frustrating to say the least, and I believe the standards were gone. Top 4 being a trophy, the dressing room, Bellerin coming out saying Sanchez wanted to win too much. There's many examples. Those are just off the top of my head. So I think the main thing that's changed is there's standards again. And I give Arteta credit for that, because I think Arteta's brought those standards in. Now we've raised those standards. It's about keeping it and also, lifting from it, because those standards haven't yet won us a major trophy. So I think the main thing that's changing, the most important thing, is having standards at this club again.
Yep, I agree. Let's go over to Frank, who I believe has a bit of trivia for us throughout the night. He messaged me yesterday, I've got this great idea. Trivia. I said, wow, it's unique. What let's hear what you got. I don't think we're going to spread them throughout the watch along a starting 11. But he's told me this one's starting 11 specific. So over to the Frank.
Yes, people, welcome along to the information station. The Frank has come back, and yes, I've got the trivia. I'm glad you thought it was a great idea as well, James. I was well proud of this one. So what I'm going to hit you guys with first is very lineup specific, and the question is, Saka, Trossard, Jesus, Ødegaard all scored on their Arsenal Champions League debuts against PSV. However, only 2 players have scored on their first 2 appearances for Arsenal in the competition. My question to you guys on the panel is, who are those 2 players?
2 players ever to have scored in their first 2 Champions League games.
There are hints available if you need them.
For Arsenal. Okay, before we phone a friend, imagine calling Robbie in France. I'm sure the atmosphere is great, but we've got a quick trivia question. Anyone got an idea?
I'm going to go with Henri. I feel like that's a safe option, but...
but didn't he go something like 11 games without a goal or something? Before he scored his first, or am I thinking of someone else?
Wait, what was the time frame?
It's going to be random.
I think it's ever.
I can give you guys the time frames if needed. That's the hint. I've got the time frames if that's it.
Okay, go on. Let's hit this.
Is Adebayor one?
No, he's not. So player number 1 did so in the 2010-11 season with goals against SC Braga and Partizan. And player number 2 did so in the 2012-13 season with goals versus Montpellier and Olympiacos.
10, 11 and 12, 13.
Yes,
Well,
that's
am I
right.
allowed to say Robin Van Persie?
No,
That was a bit
Podolski.
People Podolski.
Is that Turkish?
Yeah.
Podolski is one of them.
Hey, what a shout. And that must have been the 12-13 one.
12-13.
That's correct. I think
Is,
you guys...
is 10-11 Jack Wilshere?
No, it's not. It is another striker though.
That was Leo.
It's gonna hurt you when you don't
Can you
get
give
it.
the initials?
No.
Is it Nicholas Bentner?
No, it's not.
Do you know what? Hold on, let's see. Do you know what? The comments are lively. People are saying Giroud, but Giroud was after. He was more 12-13.
Giroud was
It's not Giroud.
It can't have been Giroud.
Yeah, Giroud was
Someone's saying, Ali says Shamak.
It is Shamak.
Hey, well done, Ali. Well done.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I went Bentner, because I knew it would be someone like that.
A few others got it. Wally got it as well. Gagan Pressing got it. Liam got it as well. Fair play to you guys. And the TV's just started playing, so that's great. They're trying to come in with an answer as well. Do you know what? That was great fun, Frank. Thank you. We'll come back. You got 2 more, right?
I've got one more.
One more. What happens to the third?
Got it. Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, 2 more. Yeah, he's not sure. He's trying to shortchange us now. All right, we'll come back to the other 2 in a little bit. Okay, so the 11 could be announced any minute. Let's talk through it, especially the Bukayo Saka stuff. People keep saying to me, he's fine. He came off the pitch. He's fine. Don't worry. He's like, I've got no doubt he's fine. He could probably play this game. If the Champions League final were tonight, of course I'll be saying get him in the team, whatever it takes. My thing is that we're playing him too much through these kind of niggly spells when he's coming off with injuries or whatever. And we've got to think for later in the season. So all these you're wrong, James. See, he was fine for Bournemouth. See, he should have played. See, he should have scored. I don't think we're going to have the answer as to whether we're right to have these doubts until March, April, May. And that's my frustration. Who here is starting Saka tonight, if available? Hands up. No one. Wow. So everyone. What are your thoughts, Tammy, on it?
I completely agree with what you're saying. I wouldn't risk it if he might be fine to play. He's been training, but why risk it a few days before a really, really big game on Sunday. And in a few months' time, if Saka's, worn and torn, really exhausted, we're going to look back at games like this where he could have rested. And I think on top of that, like, our bench is strong. It's good enough to beat Lens. So why are we then going to take the risk? Like, I think we can still comfortably win without him. So I just think it would be a silly decision to start him today.
Yeah, I agree with that, Talia.
I have a question about resting players then, and I think it's one that does get asked a lot, and I've heard people talk about it. But why, I understand why we rest players, but then in the grand scheme of things, why do we rest players? Because yes, there's injuries, and yes, we don't want people to hurt themselves, etc., for certain games and things like that and burn out. But at the end of the day, they're athletes, is how I see it, and they want to play football. They want to be on the pitch. So what happens when the manager says, well, you're going to be rested today? But they're an athlete. They train to do this. They train to run for 90 minutes or so. Does this make sense?
You sound like me.
I do mean it.
Like, no, you're right. I think in this situation, I'm with James because I feel like we should be able to get the job done tonight without Saka, and I don't doubt that he can play tonight and he can play 90 against Man City. I've seen him go through the walls and do it before. But more often than not, I'm with you. It's just that with Saka at the moment, 87 games in a row, was it? Played straight,
some of that.
Some sort of
60,
record he's
70
broken
something.
or close to breaking recently. I feel like Lens away with Man City coming up and then an international break where it's not a break for him.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an opportunity to maybe bring him off the bench for 20-30, even if he does have that desire to play.
Yeah, I just... Yes, I'm sure he can play today. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure with any player, like, we know players get injections to play games. I never really liked that anyway. And you patch it up. You put some ice on your ankle, whatever. When you come off the pitch and you're feeling pain, yeah, you're probably gonna be fine for the day after. I keep thinking about the long term. And Saka, who I think has been brilliant, we've sung nothing but his praises because he deserves it. He actually hasn't, in the run-in for the Champions League 2 years ago and the run-in for the title last year, he was not anywhere near his best, in my opinion. He did fall off towards the end of season. Now he's young, and you could put that down to pressure, and the team weren't playing quite well, and whatever. But I honestly think a lot of it's down to fatigue. I don't know if you have a strong opinion on it, Dan, but I think it's wear and tear from before.
The level of performance in this side with Saka is so much better.
Yeah.
When you've got a fit Bukayo Saka, that's what you need. And for me, Man City, this is one of the biggest games that we're going to have in a long time. And if you say to me tonight, we're going to rest Saka because he's fit for that game 100%, I'm taking it. And I think that we should be able to get past Lens without relying on Bukayo Saka. And if we have to, I'd worry.
And
I'd worry about how strong we actually are.
Exactly, and everyone says, oh no, but you've got to go full strength, don't disrespect Lens. No one's disrespecting Lens.
No.
I'm saying go with your best 11, -1, and add what do we give Reece Nelson a new contract for if he can't step in for these kind of moments? Sam has said that he thinks we should stay strong, put the game to bed and make early subs for key players, and that's very much what we did against PSV, and we praised Arteta for doing it. Dave Jordan says Saka should only play in finals, protect the child. Dave Jordan, I actually hate you, man, because he comes with these sarcastic super chats and makes us all feel stupid sometimes. Fair play. The other big debate is Ramsdale Raya, and we know that David Raya's, as always, posts on his Instagram story, I'd love to know who they hired to do these and who's taking these pictures, but very much, posing, time for the Champions League, all that. But surely Darren Ramsdale gets the call up tonight, no?
I don't think so.
And you think it'll be Raya as well?
Yeah, I think it will be. I think he's made that decision now.
I think Raya is our number one. I think let's all kind of agree on that. But again, I think today's match is a good time to just get Ramsdale on the pitch, get him some game time. I think it's a good competition for him to have Raya there. So I think also give him the opportunity to show us and remind us almost of how good he is too. Yeah,
Wenger towards the end would rotate the likes of Cech and Ospina. I mean, what a list of keepers we used to have from Champions League to Premier League. Do you think maybe it should just be reserved for the domestic cups and you go with your number one for the Champions League? Or I don't think Ramsdale playing today I don't think there should be any problem for the Arsenal team. He looked very good against Brentford.
He did, but I don't think he's going to play either tonight.
Oh wow, so you all okay?
I think he is, and I also think our defence is so good that it's okay, I guess, that he's not start. If Raya doesn't start, I think it's still we don't need to worry basically.
What makes you think he is though? You seem surprised that we're saying we don't think he is.
Who played the last Champions League game?
It was Raya.
Yeah.
I guess I took that as the North London derby's coming up. It was only a second game, Ray, and he wanted to get him warmed up into it. But that Ramsdale was ultimately going to get the opportunities in the competition he got us in. And also, Raya started very well, but Ramsdale's having a really good season as well. There's nothing between them in terms of performances for Arsenal this season.
I think there's a preference though.
Yeah,
That's what it simply is, a preference.
Arteta prefers Raya.
See, I think at the beginning when he put Raya in for that first game, I thought it was going to be they were going to keep switching, but then all of a sudden it was just like a snap, and that was it.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a snap. And
I guess it's also a bit dangerous for the team to constantly be changing our keeper as well, because I do feel like we need that consistency. And so if Arteta's really set on Raya being our number one keeper, then yeah, maybe he will just continue to play him just to get that.
I agree. I think David Raya will play Premier League and Champions League, and Ramsdale will play the cups, FA Cups and Carabao Cups. That's what I think it will be.
so we're going to win all the cups then.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
Are we allowed to say that again?
I hope so.
For this situation, I'll accept that. But usually, I'm a man that likes number one in Champions League, Premier League, and FA Cup, and number two can play League Cup. But because Ramsdale, I like him a lot, and he's helped turn this, he's helped turn the standards around as well. I'll give him the FA Cup as well if the decision has been made completely.
That's so good of you.
So kind of you.
I think
Sprinkling positivity.
But listen, ruthless. Like Real Madrid are not described as kind. Bayern Munich are not described as kind.
Yeah.
Great teams in Europe are not. Man City are not described as kind. So, yes, kindness is nice, but at a top club, if you want to
win.
be great,
Yeah, it doesn't win the games.
ruthlessness has to come before kindness.
Do Man City give Ortega minutes in?
Carabao Cups and FA Cups, isn't he?
He doesn't play Champions League.
Nah, I think so.
He played the FA Cup final.
Yeah, that's because it's the cup games.
I guess.
So he's
and you are right,
got them to the
Edison
final.
started the Champions League game 2 weeks ago. So
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem.
I'm not complaining.
it's a good problem. Was it Barcelona that won the treble alternating Bravo and Ter Stegen, and Bravo was playing Champions League and Ter Stegen was playing? Let me know in the comments, people, because
They did rotate.
But was it Champions League?
Yeah, I can't remember how
I
they
don't
did
know. Well, then, if that is the case, and Ramsdale, because the thing is, you can make a case for Raya playing 30 to 35 games of the Premier League season, and Ramsdale playing, I don't know, your six Champions League group games. Let's assume we go through, you chuck another 2, so that's 8, and then maybe anything 5 plus, cup games. You're looking at 15 plus games there or so. But if we're saying he's not even going to play in the Champions League, then he'll look for a move in January, surely.
Let's be real, man. I hope Raya plays tonight. And that just stops all this chat every single week. Who's going to play? Who's going to play? We know now. It's David Raya in the Champions League and the Prem, and Ramsdale gets the
But
cups.
isn't that what this show is?
I wouldn't give him.
Yeah, but
We'd have no show.
no, you know what I'm saying.
I think if Raya starts today, I think that will say a lot.
It will say a lot.
Yeah, if Raya starts
But
today.
I wouldn't give the opportunity for an exit to Ramsdale in January, that's for sure, regardless of how happy he is about the situation.
Nah, same.
That would be very kind, and that,
We don't want to be
you can't
kind.
be too kind. I mean, look, Ramsdale done the same thing to Leno essentially, and Leno had to bide his time for a move.
And he was professional about
So at
it.
the end
Leno was quality about it.
100%. So I expect Ramsdale to be the same. And if he is unhappy, but we keep hold of him in January against his will, and he's called upon in February, because I feel like he has that connection with the fans, he'll be playing for the fans and the club. He won't not, be himself because of his unhappiness, in my opinion. So keep him for the rest of the season regardless, and make the decision at the end.
Yeah, fair enough. Wayne Sage, the super chat, says, I know today's about Arsenal, but did any of you hear the released VAR audio for the Liverpool versus Tottenham match? The incompetence is next level. I was listening to a little bit, but we literally just started going live. And I know that's what everyone's talking about. So we will have a listen to it and actually comment on it in the 15 minutes before the match starts. Do make sure you join us for the watch along, and make sure you download the AFTV Plus app for your chance to have your say on the full-time show. We'll all be contributing to it. It's a chance for you guys to come and have your say. We want to hear from you because we'll just be talking throughout the 90. We want to hear from some fresh voices. So do download the AFTV Plus app. It's completely free to do, and you can join us on FANZONE at full time. So, PGM well aside, because we will have to talk about that at some point. The 11 still isn't announced. This is what annoys me about Arsenal. Everyone says it's 1:45. It's 60 plus 15? 75 minutes before. Yes, I wasn't great at maths. I dropped it for A level.
Did that so quickly.
I was quick, James.
Yeah, it was quick.
Quick
Taking
math.
the piss.
No, I did it slower in my head. So.
60 plus 50. Well, okay, I'll take that. Thanks, I'm okay at maths. Thank you. But whilst we wait for the 11, and Guna17 says team is out. So I'm still waiting to find it. But while we are looking for it, Have you got any more trivia for us, Frank?
I do have some more trivia for you guys. Now, this one's going to get a little bit more interesting, and we're going back a little bit for this one. To back before I was even born, actually. So this is going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, 2014. Wow.
Very, very clever, Dan. Okay, so the question is, Arsenal's last game against Lens, or Long, as I was corrected on FANZONE, was on the 20th of April 2000. A 2-1 win away in the second leg of the UEFA Cup semi-final. Which two players scored in that game?
One of them was Dennis Bergkamp.
No.
Bergkamp scored in the Wembley.
Was it in the Wembley game?
He scored in the.
I know he
not
scored
the
a
Wembley
goal
game.
there.
He scored. Yeah, I think it was Wembley, but yeah.
I know he scored against them, but I thought it was that
Was
game.
it Wiltord?
No. Once again, I've got to tell you what. Let me go through the hints, and that might be able to help you guys. So, the first goal scorer was making their debut season for the club and scored 26 goals in 49 appearances across all competitions that season. And the second goal scorer was signed during the 1999 January transfer window from Inter Milan for just over €6 million.
That's Carnu then.
Yep, that's right. Carnu is the second goal scorer.
Best in the
The
world.
other one, I guess, is
Carney
Thierry
won.
Henry.
Was it Perez?
Dan, that's a complete clean sweep from Dan.
Oh,
It's
is it,
both.
yeah?
Thierry Henry and Carnu, yeah?
Yep, that's correct.
Well done. Fair play. And well done to the Fab who got it, to B Gunner who got it, to Best in the World who got it. Fair play. The 11's out. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Go on, James.
Goalkeeper.
Cole Hine.
And the debate is... Cecil wants to call him Matt Hine in a video.
Oh, no.
Confused with Matt
No,
Turner, yeah.
no.
We need to make a compilation of Cecil
no.
moments.
That's terrible.
Is David Raya. So the
Wow.
debate might well be put to bed there.
we go.
David Raya starts in goal. The back four. Ben White is out the team. It's Tomiyasu at right back, with Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko at left back. Ødegaard, Rice and Havertz keep their place in midfield. Saka, Jesus and Leandro Trossard start in the front three. A very strong Arsenal side. Havertz keeps his place. He had lost it temporarily to Fabio Vieira, who missed the Brentford game, we think via injury, but was back on the bench and came on against Bournemouth on the weekend. He's not earned his place back. Havertz keeps it. Trossard, Saka, Jesus means Nketiah comes out the 11, and Saka, with a broken leg, is back in the 11.
See, he wants to play.
I think you are right about that. That is something that players want to play football. I mean, we always just think, they want to rest, they need time, and they're all like, no, I love the sport, I want to play. But, he's in the team, so he's fine. And he trained, like you mentioned,
There's a
Tandy.
difference between, let's say a Fabregas wanting to play through the pain barrier against the Barcelona in a Champions League quarter or whatever it was. And using Saka against Lens away in the second group stage game. I think there's a big difference between.
Yeah.
Listen, we've all had kicks in our life along the way. The way he walked off in the last game, he's still got some feeling there from that challenge or what happened to him. So I don't think I'm not going to make a meal of it because, like I said, I don't think he can't play tonight and play the full 90 against Man City. I think he showed along the way he can do that. It's just, it would have been a good chance to see a Reece Nelson start.
Anything remotely surprised about this 11? Tomiyasu's coming forward. I don't think that's that surprising.
Not surprising. I think I'm happy to see Tomiyasu come on.
Yeah.
I think he's solid, and I don't think we ever have any issues when he's on the pitch. So I think that's a good decision. I'm a bit worried about Saka in the sense that I don't want anything to go wrong now in this game, and I also don't want him to be playing at like 60 to 80% because he's worried about something happening. Like, I'd rather have Eddie or Nelson on playing at 100%.
Yeah, that's a
so
fair point.
that's the other thing. I don't want Saka to then be like not, pressing the ball or going 100%.
I know what you mean, but that's the worry with Saka. Part of the worry is that he
Does he know
never,
how to?
Yeah, he
Does
never
he know
holds
how
up.
to?
He never sort of really slows down. Trossard back, Talia. That's good to see because he was in really good form before his injury. We could have used him in the North London derby, but he's back in the 11 today.
I really like Trossard. He's actually one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Ironically, him and Martinelli. So, yeah, I know.
So you're never really disappointed with the 11 then?
No.
Oh, well, at least Martinelli's in it.
Well, no,
It's
I was
fine.
when Martinelli and then Trossard was out. I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, that's true. That was a
Great.
double whammy. Yeah.
But no, it's really good because I think he is class. I think as soon as we signed him, we could see why we signed him from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I remember because we were meant to be signing somebody else, and obviously that fell through.
Mudryk, yeah.
Yeah, and it fell through. And I remember people being like, oh no. And I was like, no, wait, this has happened for a reason. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
This has happened for a reason. And then in he came, and there you go. He's done great. So
Yeah, I hear you. And Jesus leading the line, which is
Good, man.
You know what? If Trossard starts up top and Jesus out on the left, like he has been in previous games, that tells me that he's still got Eddie in mind for the weekend up front. But hopefully Jesus really impresses and he wants to go Jesus leading the line against City, because look, we haven't started one game this season, one Premier League game I should say, this season with Jesus leading the line.
Yeah,
it's crucial.
It's facts. I spoke to Turkish about it literally last game and I said I want Jesus up top through the middle. And against Man City I want that as well. You know, I don't want Eddie coming back into that position. For me, he's a squad player, Eddie. Yeah. And when everybody's fit, Jesus plays up top for me. So I hope he has a good game tonight. The Saka situation, listen, let's hope he don't get injured now. You know, you've put him forward, he's taken that risk, and anybody can get cropped out there. It's not just him. So he's got to look at that and make sure that we get the job done quickly so we can get these guys off. That's what I want to see now. Now I've seen that 11. I haven't seen wholesale changes. I haven't seen 8 changes. I haven't even seen 3 or 4 changes. We've got a couple in Tomiyasu and Trossard, right? Which are good changes. I like both them players. I think they're both good, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, we need to be literally dominating this game, 2-0 up, get these guys off, ready for Sunday.
That should be the front 3 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
It's unfortunate, but because Martinelli's not
quite ready. Yeah. Is he on the bench, Martinelli?
Right, so the bench is Ramsdale. At least he's made there. Ramsdale, Hine, White, Partey, Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Kivior, Cedric, Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Nelson, and now Nenny.
So no Martinelli, but Partey was on the bench.
Trouble we couldn't feel.
Partey was back in training this week as well.
That's quality.
Yeah.
That's true. We couldn't name. Partey. I just read that so blasé. Oh damn, that's big. Oh, that's really great news.
I think Liverpool more excited.
I was like, just brushed past that very quickly, like, you know.
Yeah, just Partey's there. You know, Lionel Messi is in the 11. Thierry Henry's made it. Fair play.
Ronaldo's here.
Well, do you know? Because my brain, the first thought was, we couldn't name 4 first-teamers in that run for the Champions League on the bench without a whole host of academy players to make up, the full 9. And here we are, with a pretty stacked bench. However much you rate these players, you can't deny that the likes of Cedric and El Neni have played Premier League football for a lot of their career. The likes of Jorginho in there, Nelson as well, who is a youngster that was a youngster who we've nurtured and is now part of the first team. Smith Rowe as well, and Partey's back, which is great. I mean, hopefully he gets some minutes, because I'd imagine he's part of the plans for City, like he was in the Community Shield Turkish. Or too soon?
Maybe. But I'm not sure, because look at the way we started the season with him right back, Gabriel not in the side. Really and truly, we reverted back to what we know because Partey got injured.
Yes. Was it because he got injured, or was it because it wasn't working? I feel like if he does come on, it's not going to be back to what Arteta was doing at the beginning of the season, because I think he tried and tested that enough.
Yeah, people will argue that it did work because we won the games. That's the only.
But we didn't win them comfortably, and they weren't. They were meant to be easy wins. So I don't know.
Or was it Zinchenko being out?
That's what I think it is. Yeah. I think Zinchenko and Jesus being out, as soon as they were there, you don't need an inverted right back now. You've got Zinchenko back. Yeah. So Partey would have gone back into the middle, I hope. I mean, listen, if we get to the weekend and Partey's at right back, I'm not going to be a happy bunny, man. I'll tell you this now. I have a feeling but I'm hoping that it's not going to be the case.
Yeah, Gareth says, glad Havertz is playing because we know Vieira is good off the bench going from this season so far. We've got to talk about Smith Rowe. What's going on? Yeah, but I don't think any of us thought Smith Rowe was going to start. Havertz got his first goal from the penalty. We were joking about how it was a muted celebration, which we liked, because there was a degree of self-awareness about it. We were saying, you don't want to bag a penalty to Perth 3-0 that you've been charitably given and then start knee sliding.
Penalty.
It was, but I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too. But it's like he was.
Bit kind.
I'm killing them with kindness. It was a pity penalty. He scored it, but like you said, he didn't celebrate it thinking he's the best player on the pitch, because he knows he's not given it all he has to offer yet. So. Yeah,
we've still got plenty to see, but hopefully he builds on that. I say that performance. It was better. It was certainly more of a standard 5, 6, 7 of a performance, rather than, even when we played well at times, us going, we're playing well, but Havertz is kind of holding us back a little bit. So let's hope he builds on that. And otherwise, I don't really think there's much more from the 11 that particularly surprised us. I mean, Zinchenko, I would have thought maybe it was an opportunity to rest him. Do you think White deserved to come out of the 11 for a little bit, Talia? Because he's not. I mean, he scored against Bournemouth. He's not doing anything wrong, but he's not at his last year best yet.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's at all where he was last season yet. I think it's still a mixture of kind of not up and down, but it's one of those where it's not kind of putting it all in just yet.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what you were saying just about the penalty though. You know, at the end of the day, you joke that it might have been a pity penalty and whatever, but people still miss penalties. I think I said that last week.
Yeah, you are right.
And I've seen Messi miss penalties and, you know,
But
Harry
Havertz has
Kane's
only
missed
missed one.
penalties.
It's true.
Havertz has only missed one though, so
Ever.
if he missed
That's true.
that would have been a big deal. So I'm
Yeah.
glad he didn't.
But at least he bagged that one, eh?
It's about,
Yeah.
it's about what happens next for Havertz.
Yeah,
from here.
exactly.
Yeah.
If
So
I
like
hear
what he does
about
now.
confidence next week,
Yeah, he's got some confidence now for today.
if he doesn't have confidence after that, then please.
Do you know what I need to see from Havertz? I need to see. I know he's a different player to Xhaka, but Xhaka was doing last season better what I thought Havertz would offer us this season, which is running beyond the last line, getting into goal-scoring positions, getting his head on things. Like, when we were signing him and people were saying he'll play the Xhaka role, I was thinking, that's not crazy. It's crazy in that I don't think off the ball he's as good as Xhaka, but then he's actually proving that that's kind of one thing he is offering more than anything. Can he get forward? Can he break the lines? Like, when Jesus drops in and Erdegaard is, crafting midfield, making things happen, and the wingers are creating from wide areas, and Zinni's underlapping and White or whoever's overlapping, can he pick up those spaces as like a free runner and get on the end of things? That's what everyone keeps telling us he is, a space invader. He gets into good areas. Let's see if Arsenal can start finding
You know what you should do
him.
during the international break? Do an in-focus on Havertz and compare his numbers to Xhaka on and off the ball. Because I'm interested to find out if off the ball he is as good as Xhaka was last season, or if it's only that off the ball he's better than he is on the ball and we're overrating what he's
It's
doing
making
off the
him
ball.
look better because he's not been great on the ball.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah.
That's a good idea. If you want to see that video, get to 2 million likes. And, it's just giving me extra work. Is he kidding me? If you hit 2 million
You'll be
likes,
asking on Monday, what video should I do this week? Well, you got one there, mate.
That is true. And Cass is in the building, so he won't let us forget it. Trickball says 2 keepers on the bench, incoming keeper sub.
Wow.
Don't know. He said he'd do it, Arteta. Or was he lying to us?
Come on, man. 42 formations. He's doing that. He's
Yeah,
doing that. He likes doing that.
Yeah, he likes to just sort of, that's true. Let's go over to the Frank. I nearly called you Frank. Sorry, I didn't mean to misname you.
How dare
To
you
the
call me by
Frank
my name?
For your thoughts on the 11 as well, mate.
Yeah, so I can't complain about the 11. I'm glad we've gone strong. However, I am slightly weary about potentially 3 of these. I look at the Raya inclusion, and as a goalkeeper myself, I really do feel for Ramsdale. I'm of the opinion that they're both equal in terms of their ability, and if I put myself into Ramsdale's shoes, I'd be absolutely fuming. A big part of the reason that we're back in the Champions League is because of Aaron Ramsdale. So the fact that he can't get a start in the Champions League is really disappointing for me, but I'm quite happy to see Raya in goal regardless. The Saliba inclusion, I just get flashbacks to last season, and funny enough, I think me and Dan were speaking about this before the game. I'm sure when he got injured in that game against, was it, who did we get knocked out against? Sporting Lisbon. I'm sure we had City following that game after as well. So God forbid, touch wood, nothing happens to Saliba in this game. And then the other one for me is, who was it? Jesus. Yes. No, sorry, not Jesus. Saka. He's played a lot of minutes over the last few years. He doesn't seem to be getting a rest. I personally would have rested him and just had him fresh for City. And there's other options that we could have put in there. I don't know what Reece Nelson's got to do to get a start. I don't know what Emile Smith-Rowe's got to do to get a start. But I don't want to be too negative. I'm still happy to see the lineup. As for a prediction, I'm going Arsenal 3, Lens 1.
Fair enough. I think we'd all take that now. There's a super chat from Joe Allen, who I imagine is absolutely the former Swansea and Stoke Liverpool midfielder who would undoubtedly be watching AFTV right now. He's got a question for Turkish. How much does it annoy you when James keeps trying to make the best case for Havertz?
You know what? I was going to say something, but I thought not. I don't need to say something every time. I need to remind myself.
Just gave you an extra
Pick and
focus
choose.
instead.
Yeah, I need to pick and choose my battle because it's not the last time he's going to be doing that on the stream. So
I have to try and offer the other side. Anyway, Ibi says, happy to see Tomiyasu. Man can block anything. Yeah, I am happy to. I think he's been brilliant for us whenever he stepped in. And we are debuting our new third kit. I think the
Nice.
resounding
Green one.
favoured kit.
Love that kit.
It's really nice.
Yeah, everyone's favourite of the
Love
3.
it.
Prefer it to
I like the home kit a lot.
Yeah,
I think they're both up there for different reasons. I like the gold on the home kit.
Yeah,
at first it looked a bit, but I got used to it.
Yeah, it's good. Have you seen they've now re-released the authentic one with the actual
games,
with the right amount of things.
How they screw that up? Like the one thing.
Someone got sacked.
One
man.
job.
The one thing.
He put 49 on these on. Ah, sorry, bro. He put 42. However it was. Come on, man. Jesus Christ.
A couple L's in there. So, what? Oh, I thought you meant the other season. Anyway, well, they've re-released those now. So, Little Brother says, love Ramsdale, but Raya is better. Also, we need to play our best team, take Champions League team seriously. We'll deal with the City lineup when it comes. Fair point. Diego says Ramsdale played a humongous role in getting us back to the Champions League. He hasn't failed us in any way. He surely deserves a taste of this competition. Unfair treatment from the gaffer. And I think that's going to be coming up a lot. I look forward to hearing Lee Judge's thoughts on the Forever Arsenal podcast about it all. But all right, we'll do the score predictions as we come back in about 30 to 40 minutes time for the start of the watch along. 15 minutes before kickoff is an 8 p.m. kickoff. Here in the UK it is 8 p.m, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. I'm not lying to everyone. Good. So we'll be back around then. The 11 is out. Just a reminder of the 11. You've got it there on your screen. It's Raya and goals. Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, the fullbacks with Gabriel and Saliba at centre back. Rice, Havertz, and Ødegaard are the same midfield three from the weekend. Trossard coming in. Jesus moved up front, and Saka on the right. So about 3 to 4 changes in there if you're talking personnel positions, but only really Tomiyasu coming into the 11 and Trossard as well. The bench, as you've seen, is stacked. Thomas Partey's back on the bench, so good to see him as well. The Lons team, I really should find that, but I don't follow them on Twitter. Here we go. Anyone else follow Lons on Twitter? No? Samba in goal. Mercado, Danso, Abdul Samed, Satoka. I was about to say in the back four, but then I realised they've done it in numerical order, so who knows where they're playing. I'm no expert on Lons, but Wahi is leading the line. He is the striker we were linked to in the summer, but got his move. Medina, Gradit, Mendy, who I believe is former Leicester midfielder, Mendy as well. Thomason and Frankowski are the Lons 11. All right. Abdullahi with the super chat says, thoughts on missing out on Benzema? You're about 10 years too late for that one. But maybe we'll explore that in the watch along. All right, everyone, we'll be back in about 30 to 40 minutes time or so. Those are the 11s. We've just given you the Lons 11. You can see the Arsenal 11 to your right as well. Partey back on the bench. Great to see Trossard back in the 11 as well. And come join us for the watch along very, very soon. Arsenal in the trip to Lons in the Champions League. Our first away tie since Turkish's first fan camp on AFTV. We'll see you very, very soon.